This program is brought to you by Grace Kennedy Money Services, home of Bill Express, Western Union, and FX Trader.
On Impact this week, the fallout of the lottery scam in Western Jamaica, a special public forum sponsored by Grace Kennedy Money Services Limited. The theme, addressing your concerns, taking back Western Jamaica. For the full hour this week on Impact. Stay with us.
Now with Western Union's cash to account service, you can send money right to a U.S. bank account. It's easy. Just give us the receiver's name, the U.S. bank's name, the account number and routing number, and the money will arrive at your receiver's bank account in the U.S. They can then go into the bank, withdraw the money from an ATM, or even write a check. Western Union makes it easy. Western Union, moving money for better.
NCB's amazing Volkswagen loan sale. Buy any 2012 Volkswagen from ATL Automotive and pay nothing for up to 6 months with up to 8 years to repay. Get up to 100% financing at interest rates as low as 9.9%. Plus up to 100% financing on insurance. Hurry! You have until January 31 or while stocks last. Call us at 1-888-NCB first or apply online today. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Impact. We're bringing you a special public forum sponsored by Grace Kennedy Money Services from the Montego Bay Civic Center on the issues, the fallout from the lottery scam trade on Western Jamaica. The theme, addressing your concerns, taking back Western Jamaica. I was just speaking with some of the city fathers who had a very interesting perspective on the problem posed by the lottery scam, and I was given an education in terms of the sociology of Montego Bay and St. James, and more so, another perspective on the socio-economic challenges facing Western Jamaica, and within that social milieu, the emergence of another informal, if not illegal, enterprise, because as the city fathers were making the point, people will try to survive. We have an august panel here this afternoon, beginning with Assistant Commissioner of Police Devon Watkins. He's a police commander for Area 1. He's to my immediate left. To his left, we have President of the St. James Ministers Fraternal, the Reverend Glendon Powell. To Reverend Powell's left, a well-known community advocate. I see where he has now graduated from activist to advocate, Dave Allen. he needs hardly any introduction to the people of Montego Bay. To O'Dave's left is the parish manager of the Social Development Commission, Randy Hale. And to Mr. Hale's left, the chairman of the Justice and Security Committee of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce, also a well-known attorney at law, and from a family with a long history in Montego Bay, Nathan Robb. There are some deficiencies in terms of the police being effective in really fighting this trade. You are failing to win convictions. I think, Mr. Robb, I should probably ask you to make the case instead of trying to make your case. What is, just repeat for the ACP what you were telling me a short while ago.
Well, what I'm saying is that the focus on the lottery scam has given the impression that that by itself is the failing and the downfall in Montego Bay. We have been titled lottery scam of the nation, and I'm saying because there's a particular focus on lottery scam, we have failed to capture the other crimes, the other problems that exist, and we have allowed our resources to be directed primarily in that area, and insofar as convictions, etc. are concerned, it really has not panned out, and that's a fact which cannot be disputed.
Would you agree with that, ACP Watkins?
Let's just clarify the issue of the lottery scam. The scam in itself is speaking in general to instances of what is now termed advanced fee fraud or confidence tricksters fraud. But within that label, you find several elements that could be used to characterize the act and the individual way of achieving an outcome that deprives the individual of their possession. And I know the contention has always been that there's no law that lists any offense as lottery scam. We are saying that the characteristics which out of that could relate to several of our existing laws until we're able to get the amendment that we have been advocating for. Laws such as conspiracy to deceive, the mere conversation with intent to convince somebody to part with their possession.
Lead lists.
Lead lists. Proceeds of crime act. The proceeds from these activities that we know the individuals are engaged in are used to procure assets. And if we're saying that the mere possessing these things are illegal, then when they convert that into the procurement of assets or even use for themselves, the big question must be, where did the money come from? And if we accept that we have a society that has a framework that pushes for honesty in our dealing, then the concern, my friend, from a legal perspective, I can understand, but from a police point of view, then we have that issue. To address the issue of whether or not we are focusing all our attention there, that's not a fact. It may appear so because we have a team that is specifically focusing there, and they have had their criticism, some of which we use as feedback to try and refine the approaches going forward. And that will continue. The fact is that we have a problem that has to be addressed. And it has to be addressed using all stakeholders, all elements available, all approaches that can bring about some semblance of a response. As the laws are revised, enhanced, I'm sure you'll see more. And finally, don't be fooled by the fact that you see some persons are taken in charge and maybe released initially for an offense that is deemed not connected to, because we think that if you are charged for possessing proceeds that is believed to be as a result of your involvement in taking money out of their property, that has connection. So it depends on who is interpreting it. It depends on if you're a legal person defending justice in your own eyes or in the way it has been practiced, then you could draw that conclusion. I just don't want to agree with my friend at this time.
Mr. Robb, you want to respond to that?
Insofar as the Chamber of Commerce is concerned, which I represent, the Chamber is not in any way promoting the lottery scam and is quite against it. But I'm saying the Chamber wishes us to have a balanced view of the lottery scam and to make it clear that while they fully support the police, they are also insisting that in the process we follow the rules of justice. You cannot scrape up, and I'm using the word scrape up deliberately. You cannot scrape up on a weekend 300 to 500 people. Take them to the JDF camp, which prevents them from having legal access, because you cannot pass that soldier's gate to get in there. And then on Monday morning you release 400 of them in the name of a lottery scam. That is what happens. And I'm saying, while we are fully in support of the police, I'm simply saying, do not define Montego Bay by
surely
virtue of the
ACP
lottery
Watkins,
scam.
that doesn't happen, does it?
Well, I don't know where those figures are from. We, from time to time, arrest some persons for varying offenses.
No. He's not arresting some persons. He was very specific. Hundreds of people take them overnight on a Friday evening and put them out of the reach of legal representation.
No. In fact, we embrace the principle of representation, legal and otherwise. And in this instance, it's there. I know there have been a few complaints here and there that from where I sit I've had to intervene, but legal representation is one of the things that...
In other words, Mr. Robb is exaggerating.
I want to say so on this occasion.
Mr. Robb, you're guilty of stretching the reality.
The whole notion of conviction is something which is extremely troubling, because it is not happening. People are being arrested for having a flat screen TV. That is what they're charged for. Ask the ACP to deny that. People are arrested for having a chandelier in their house. That is what they're being charged for. And it goes to court and it gets laughed out of court, because there is no basis on which to say that these persons have unlawfully acquired the property.
I don't want to extend the to and fro between you
No, sir,
and the
I'm in
ACP,
full agreement with you. That's why I want to move on.
But I think it would be remiss of me to allow that to go unanswered. ACP.
We do arrest persons, not only for flat screen, but all assets that we have reasonable cause to believe may have been procured from illegal proceeds. And whether or not it's a lotto scam or other assets, it happens, and the intention is solely on the basis of the probable cause leading to that. If the court rules otherwise or interpret the action in a particular way, then I can understand we will use that as a basis to refine the process. But the intention was never to say that an individual can't own a flat screen, but to say that individual should not possess criminal asset in any way. And to the extent that an explanation is not provided to the satisfaction of the officer at the time, these arrests will happen.
All right. Thanks very much. We're going to take our first break. And of course, we're coming to you live from the Montego Bay Civic Center in Montego Bay, in the heart of Sam Sharp Square. We're looking at addressing your concerns, taking back Western Jamaica, courtesy of Grace Kennedy Money Services. Stay with us.
NCP DB's amazing Volkswagen loan sale. Buy any 2012 Volkswagen from ATL Automotive and pay nothing for up to 6 months with up to 8 years to repay. Get up to 100% financing